Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Laura Jones, Executive Vice President with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Thanks, Laura, for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me, Mario.
Let's talk about cybersecurity. CFIB put out a new survey today indicating that 72% of small business owners are more concerned than ever about cyber attacks. Why is that?
Well, the same survey found about 1 in 4 saying that they've noticed an increase in cyber attacks. And then we've had about 1 in 10 members actually be subject to an attack that costs them time and money. And so, and the average, if you are attacked, was about $26,000 for a small business, pretty big bill for a small business, with some as high as $500,000. So I think it's just something that's more on people's mind now. More businesses have gone online during the pandemic. And then, of course, we have the situation with the Ukraine and Russia causing a lot of speculation that cyber attacks are going to go up. So that whole confluence of events means that business owners are preoccupied with this, but it's one of those issues that you can be worried about it, but you're not sure what to do about it, which is why we're really excited today to announce a new partnership that we have with Mastercard, who's done a lot of work in this area in order to make some of these tools and this education more approachable and easier for small businesses to actually engage with.
So let's I'm going to return to some of the issue and the problem, but I just while we're on Mastercard thing, tell me, so what is this program all about, and what's the overall purpose of the program for the small business owners?
So really, the overall purpose is to help small businesses protect their business from the threat of cyber attack and to make that as easy as possible. We know business owners don't have a whole lot of extra time on their hands, so we want to make sure that the language and the way that we put forward this education is really approachable. And while we are not ready to launch the specific modules yet, we're not waiting. So we're getting some of this out to our members early. We've got a webinar going on this week for members, so they can ask. We're already seeing what kinds of questions and information business owners want, but it's really about saying, okay, so how do you recognize something like phishing, and what can you do about it? What are those risks to your business? What do you do if someone steals your data and is holding it ransom? So it's answering those questions that business owners have about cybersecurity, and you know, I think one of the misperceptions is that small businesses have is that maybe they're too small to be attacked and their data might not be worth much. And that really is a myth. Lots of small businesses are attacked.
Okay, so tell me, you know, with the past, say, 2 years, obviously a lot of businesses have had to adapt to the changing environment and becoming more, say, online as a business, doing a lot of stuff in that direction. Has that made them more vulnerable now?
Yeah, just because you have more people on, you know, if you weren't online before, you weren't, or you weren't doing much online, you weren't as subject to these attacks. But of course, if you're doing more online, or you're online now, or you weren't online before, you have maybe an online store to complement your bricks and mortar retail establishment, then all of a sudden these are new risks to you, or the risks are not new, but the risks have gone up. And so it's just really important to be aware of what those risks are and how you can protect yourselves. And of course, in this right now, business owners are more concerned than ever about costs. So how do we do this in a way that's not going to, you know, pile additional costs onto the bottom line is another thing that we're looking very carefully at.
And I'm just curious, in terms of the vulnerability of them and the risk, are the risks more attached to, say, a financial cost of what they could lose financially, or are the risks more attached to an operational cost of you know, their inability, I guess, if they're under attack, to operate in normally?
It can be both. I can give you an example of, I was talking to a business owner last week, dry cleaning business, and they had a portal where their clients could ask questions or contact them, and it was not as secure. And of course, business owner didn't really have any sense that that was a problem, and all of a sudden, gets a ransomware attack, and they've taken the whole system down, the whole dry cleaning system down, and asking for money in order to put it back up again. Now, that particular business owner was backing up his system every night. And so he didn't have to pay the actual ransomware or the actual ransom to get the data back up and running. He was able to contact an IT person who was able to help, get him up and running again. However, talk about a headache and, a whole day's lost productivity and time and stress and all of that he absolutely didn't need. I mean, dry cleaners are among the businesses that have been particularly hard hit during the pandemic. So there's how it might play out in the real world. In other cases, it might not cost you money, but it's kind of the reputational risk. Like you click on a link you shouldn't have clicked on, and all of a sudden, all of your contact list is getting these weird emails. And again, it's very stressful when that happens. So how can we help business owners have the tools to help defend themselves against that kind of stress, downtime? But it can cost money too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Laura, I appreciate your time on this.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you. That was Laura Jones, Executive Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. This has been Taking Care of Business. Thanks for joining us today.